So the first graph you might want to make, or one of the first ones, is just looking at which words are used most frequently per prompt. So we'll do some fancy GG plotting to view the most common words for each prompt that we have. So you might, let's try it first without this anti-join at the top. I'll explain what it does later. Or I guess I'll explain it now. So as you may have guessed, words like I and you and the are used the most in almost all text you've come across. And we see that in our regular, let's look at our token counts. You know, we have these words like I, to, and, the, and these are called stop words. They can provide super useful information, but for the purposes of this graph, they're not super informative. It'll be kind of interesting if I comes up before you and things like that. But for the most part, it's not really going to help us see what kinds of words were used most frequently and in a way that's super meaningful. So there are existing lists of stop words that you can remove using, anti-join, which would just remove all rows that have any words with those stop words. And you can also make your custom list of stop words by just making a character vector of all the stop words you want to use, and then adding that to here, or like a data frame might be easier. But either way, I'm sure you can figure it out if you want to create a custom list. Otherwise, two of the pre-existing ones I use all the time are get stop words, which is a relatively shorter list, and just stop words, which is more comprehensive. So here I'm using stop words in the anti-join. So let's change this to no stop words removed if we're going to have that commented out. And let's run this plot. Great. And then let's zoom in. Okay, so most frequently used words per prompt, no stop words removed. So as you can see, we have like to, me, I, these sorts of things are coming up to the top, which is fine, useful and interesting, like outcomes. People are talking about themselves. I have experienced XYZ, that makes sense. But we might be more interested in things that come kind of after those words. So we're now going to just remove a large number of stop words using this anti-join stop words and run that again. And let's go to our Zoom. All right, so this is a little more informative for this kind of a plot. So now we see when people are talking about the power that their gaslighter had over them, we have power, mother, father, boyfriend, romantic. Those sorts of words are coming up to the top. So you can take a second to kind of look over this and see what sorts of things we have. Again, for positive outcomes, we have that people are learning things, right? They're realizing stuff. For the negative outcomes, there's some issues with trust, and relationships and so on and so forth. So removing those stop words is a way to kind of get down to the other words that were used commonly for each prompt. So this can be a helpful way to kind of start exploring what people are talking about in your different text boxes or prompts. All right. So frequency is one way of seeing which words are important to a given prompt. But as you saw before, it favors stop words and like other common or frequently used words. So luckily, we have lots of other cool metrics that can index the importance of words per prompt. One popular one is called TF-IDF, which is the term frequency and inverse document frequency. So this indexes the importance of a word considering both its frequency within a prompt, but also its rarity across all the prompts. So if something is used in all of the prompts, even if it's really common, it will be punished or like kind of reduced down, or like, yeah, it's the TF-IDF will go down for words that are appearing in all of the prompts because it's not like specific or useful or important to any one prompt. So like I kind of just said, unlike term frequency, it adjusts for the overall frequency of a word in the entire data set. And this kind of takes care of stop words on its own because stop words are used likely in all of your prompts. So those will not come up to the top. Another metric that I like to use is called log odds. So it calculates the likelihood that a word appears in a specific document, or in this case, a specific prompt, compared to its overall likelihood of appearing in any prompt or document. I find that it's a little more forgiving than TF-IDF if one word shows up in many prompts, which just gives you kind of a different take on the word importance. So I use the tidy-low package for this. Tidy log odds is what it stands for. And this can use either an empirical Bayes Dirichlet prior approach or an uninformative prior. And I'm not that good at understanding the difference. I mean, I think it's one uses like the distribution of all of the words used across all the prompts, whereas one does not incorporate any prior information and assumes equal probabilities for all of the words for each prompt independently. But like really understanding the nitty-gritty is not my strong suit. So we could look into that as a team, or someone who like knows Bayesian statistics a little better than I do could maybe chime in here. But we can calculate both. I'm only going to graph one of them for you, but then you can graph the other one and kind of compare the difference. All right, so in this code block here, we're binding both TF-IDF and log odds to our tokens, resulting in a new data frame called gaslighting unnested info. And this data frame will contain a column for TF-IDF for each word, weighted log odds with the informative prior, and a weighted log odds with an uninformative prior. So we can see that in the first grouped data frame we made, we have which text box the word is from, what word it is, how many times it was used, and the severity for that word. But now in our info one, we have all those same columns, but now we also have TF-IDF, or we have TF and IDF. So the term frequency, the inverse document frequency, and then as I was talking about the TF-IDF, which combines these two things. And then we have our log odds with our informative prior and our log odds with our uninformative prior as well for each word that was used in each text box. Okay, so now we might want to make basically the same graph we made before, but with our most representative words by TF-IDF. So after calculating the TF-IDF for each word within each prompt, we can visualize the most representative words. The plot I have here, like the others, displays the top 20 words with the highest TF-IDF values, which indicates their significance within each prompt category. And then the plot is grouped by text box as before and all of the things. So let's go ahead and run that. Go to our big view window. Cool, so you can see that we have a lot of similar things as we had after we removed stop words from the previous one, which is kind of like a nice sanity check. But I think you'll see that we have kind of even better dissociation of the topics within each one, because again, the way this statistic works or this calculation works is that it like punishes words that are used in a lot and really like brings up words that are really specific to a certain prompt. So you can kind of see some of that here. Again, we've got our positive outcomes. People are learning things. In our negative outcomes, again, we have our kind of trust issues. We have esteem coming out. Something else. For our emotional response, we have crying and anxiety and sadness and things like that, feeling frustrated and annoyed and angry. That makes a lot of sense. In terms of like what power did the gaslighter have over you, we have influence, power, those are good things. And then again, like boyfriend, parent, father, etc. And so on and so forth. So you can really see like the different kinds of topics or the things people are talking about within each prompt coming out. Okay, so let's also do one of the log odds ones as well. I'm going to use the uninformative prior for now. I feel like it gives like the most different results from TF-IDF. But go ahead and try with the informative one as well. You can let me know how you change that in here or try that on your own time. Again, I tried to be really clear with my comments here about how you can, like what everything does and how you can change it. But let me know if you have any specific questions. So we'll run that one. So here's our weighted log odds. Cool. So you'll see, you know, they are similar, but we have more stop words coming in, but I feel like it's not big swaths of stop words that are uninformative. It's actually like reasonably important ones. So again, it's not punishing as much words that show up in all of them. and letting it kind of shine through, which even stop words that might be used in all of them might be slightly more tied to one prompt or another. So again, you can kind of take a second to look at this. I'm sure yours will look very different. But we can again see the kinds of like topics coming through here. Okay. So, one of the main questions I have is which words are used more by people with more or less severe outcomes. So when we grouped our tokens, we averaged severity scores across each word for each text box. So we can use this to see which words are used by people with more or less severe outcomes. I know I kind of have like a monster GG plot here, and I'm sorry about it, but it does turn out nice looking in my opinion. So again, if you have any questions about like all of this GG plotting, I'm happy to answer questions. I love writing these out and making them look all nice. But anyway, the first thing I do here is just find the average severity rating for all participants. Since this is best calculated from the wide format, I just did it there and found that our mean is 2.63, and that I'll use as like a dotted line or like an intercept to show you like above or below the mean, basically. So let's run this. Oops. Oh yeah. It wants a different, wherever I said line width or size, it now wants line width. So you can change that if you'd like to not use the deprecated version. But anyway, it still runs. Okay, so these I think are really interesting. I know this is kind of a lot to look at. So I have a logs x-axis because text data, you'll have a ton of words that are used very little, or sorry, a ton of words that are used a lot and less words that are used. I get it all flipped around. You'll have very few words that are used a lot. Sorry, okay. Yeah, with text data, you'll have a lot of words that are used a few times and only a few words that are used a ton of times. I also removed stop words from this, otherwise it would just kind of be overwhelmed with stop words, but the stop words would probably all be kind of towards these dotted lines here, which is kind of helpful. But anyway, so I think it's interesting, for example, that in the emotional response to the experience, people who have more severe impact are using words like anxiety, whereas people who have less severe impact are using words like annoyed. I think that's kind of interesting and shows that I think that has some level of validity here with what we're trying to get at. The people who are talking about power, the people with more severe experiences are talking about their relationships and their mother and their father, more so than people with less severe impact. I think there's some other kind of interesting ones in here. Again, I'm kind of like guessing or kind of extending the data maybe beyond what I should, but like for positive outcomes, we're seeing for people with more severe experiences, words like never, which is like kind of more like finite in terms of like things being more severe for like a very long time, like never again, or, whatever. Whereas people with less severe outcomes are just kind of realizing things. Oh yeah, and in terms of the definition and also the description, people with more severe experiences are using words like crazy a little more often and reality a little more often than people who have less severe experiences, kind of what I was mentioning earlier. So this can be a really great way to kind of pair some kind of quantitative data with your text data and start to pull apart which words are used across whatever quantitative data you're interested in. Okay. So for our last thing, you might want to, in order to kind of get a flavor, again, I should spell things correctly, for what kinds of longer phrases people use a lot, we can make a word cloud with our bigrams. And what's nice about the way I have this is that we can see which words are used next to each other a lot, and also their directionality in their order, which might make a little more sense once we run it. So this code just has one line for formatting how we want our arrows to look, because I'm very uptight about making things look pretty. And then also we have our whole code chunk here, which again, I can like go into a little bit more. It basically separates our bigrams into words. I'm removing rows where there's like stop words. I just think that'll be a little more helpful for this sort of thing right now. And we're taking out bigrams that are used less than twice or less than 3 times. And then the rest of it is just making our graph. I will show you what that looks like. Cool. Again, sorry, I'm using size when they want me to use line width, but you can change that if you'd like. All right, so this looks like a lot. I'm still kind of tweaking how this would be a little bit clearer, but you can see that we have terms like creating false narratives or false reality, something about what the right thing is, our self-worth, self-esteem. We have eating disorder, and ex-boyfriend and mental health over here, healthy relationships, abusive relationships, romantic relationships, etc. So these are kind of fun to explore and see how all of your words fit together and which words are used next to each other and how everything fits together. I think this starts to give you a sense of the kinds of things people were talking about and the kinds of like longer terms people were using in your data. So that's the last visualization I have for you. I'll stop sharing. Please let me know if you have any questions. For those of you who are watching this asynchronously, feel free to email me. And those of you who are watching live, we can talk about whatever you want to talk about and try whatever you want to try. I hope this helps you if you have some kind of data or project in the future where you want to just ask people how they feel or what they think, and this will help you explore that data. So thank you so much for listening, and yeah, let me know if you have any questions. Thanks.